JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Senton woman dies in fiery motor vehicle crash. A 38-year-old Senton woman died in a fiery three-vehicle collision near Pear Tree Bottom, Runaway Bay in the parish this morning. The deceased has been identified as Anastasia Edwards of Hampton Heights, Runaway Bay. The police said the crash involved a tractor-trailer, Edwards under CRV, and a panel truck. The tractor-trailer and the under CRV were traveling towards Discovery Bay, while the panel truck was traveling in the opposite direction. It is reported that the panel truck veered into the path of the tractor-trailer, hitting its wheel. The driver of the panel truck then lost control of the vehicle and crashed into Edwards under CRV, which was traveling behind the trailer. Both vehicles then burst into flames. Edwards' charred remains were removed after the fire brigade extinguished the flames. 76-year-old among two shot in Central Village. 2 days after police killed 4 men in Central Village, St. Catherine, gunmen struck in the community, shooting 2 people, including a 76-year-old man. The latest shooting took place in the Big Lane area of the community. The injured individuals, both males, have since been admitted to hospital, police said. Police reported that about 5:40 p.m., the 2 men were walking along the roadway. Upon reaching near the Big Lane New Testament Church, 2 men on foot approached and opened gunfire at them. The 76-year-old, who is a pensioner, was shot in the left foot. The other man, who is 46, was shot in the right hand. The gunmen then fled. Both injured men were taken to hospital, where they were admitted in stable condition. The police said 12 9mm spent casings were found at the scene. On Wednesday, 4 men were killed by the police, and 3 guns were seized during an early morning operation in Central Village. Police said one of the now deceased was a 16-year-old boy from East Kingston who was wanted for murder. 2 U.S. citizens charged in 21-gun find at Kingston warehouse. 2 United States residents have been charged in connection to last week's seizure of 21 firearms at a warehouse at the wharf in Kingston. Charged with illegal importation of firearm are Jermaine Samuel Baker, a 36-year-old chef of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Dervon Brown, a 42-year-old construction worker of Bronx, New York. They are to appear before the corporate area gun court on Friday, March 18. Police report that on March 4, Customs detected a suspicious package at the warehouse and alerted the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation branch of the constabulary. A subsequent search led to the discovery of 3 rifles, 18 handguns, and more than 2,000 rounds of ammunition. It was the latest in a string of major gun seizures by the police. Investigations ongoing into 9-year-old Gabriel King's murder, say police. Investigators are now awaiting the forensic results on the crime scene, where 9-year-old Gabriel King was found dead in the rear of his mother's stolen motor vehicle 7 weeks ago in St. James, after which a file will be sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, for advice. There is an investigative file that is advanced. There are attorneys involved, and the investigators are now awaiting the forensic evidence to get guidance from the DPP's office. Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Clifford Chambers, head of Police Area 1, said on Thursday. There is a full-blown investigation that is ongoing. However, ACP Chambers would not provide any other details on the investigation, as the matter was not being handled by sleuths under his command. The Heartless Act, which drew national outrage, occurred on Thursday, January 13, about 9 a.m., police report stated. When Gabriel and his mother, Amoyle and Issa, were traveling in her Audi motor car along the Tucker Main Road towards downtown Montego Bay. Reports are that she slowed to maneuver some potholes in the roadway when a man approached her vehicle, slapped her in the face, dragged her from the car, and drove off with her autistic child in the back seat. The police were alerted and the vehicle was later found abandoned off the Fairfield Main Road, where the child's body lying on the back seat of the car is throat slashed. But the police said they have been experiencing challenges during their probe, which, according to Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitz Bailey, forced the cops to be doing some extraordinary things to get the support that they need. The criminal investigators have since collected statements from the stepfather of the deceased child, Mike Issa, the mother, Leon Issa, business associates of the couple, as well as the family driver, gardener, and housekeeper. Gabriel's biological father, who resides overseas, was also interviewed. It is understood that young Gabriel's body was cremated on Friday, March 4. Licensed farmholder among 2 held with cocaine and cash in St. James. A licensed farmholder is one of 2 men arrested following the seizure of $100,000 worth of cocaine Thursday. Information received is that the men were reportedly held with the cocaine and more than $370,000 cash during an operation by the police in St. James. The operation was carried out by members of the Area 1 Police's Narcotics Division in St. James. It is reported that about 5:45 p.m., the police conducted a snap operation along the Barrytown Main Road in the parish, in which a silver 2015 Nissan motorcar was intercepted and searched. During the search, the police found 2 kilograms of cocaine and cash inside the vehicle. The men who were traveling in the vehicle were taken into police custody, and the drugs and money were seized. Both men are said to be from the parish of St. Anne. 16-year-old boy stabbed to death in Castleton. A teenager died from stab wounds which were inflicted during a dispute with a man in Castleton, St. Mary on Friday night. The deceased has been identified as 16-year-old Jamel Lewis of Shanty District, Castleton. According to information from the police's Corporate Communications Unit, CCU, Lewis and a man were involved in an altercation in the community about 7:30 p.m. on Friday. During the fight, the man allegedly used a knife to inflict wounds to Lewis, who collapsed and was taken to hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. A CCU representative was unable to confirm whether the suspect has since been apprehended by the St. Mary police, who are probing the incident. $500 million to feed inmates annually in correctional facilities. It is costing the government over $500 million annually to feed inmates at the island's correctional facilities. Figures obtained show that in 2020 it cost $13,000 to feed one inmate per month, and the island's prison population currently amounts to just about 3,700. The revised estimates of expenditure for the current financial year show a food bill of $527,374,000, with that figure expected to rise to $581,431,000 for the coming financial year 2022-23 for diet charges. The issue of the feeding of prisoners has been a vexed one for many Jamaicans over the years. It is a popular opinion that prisoners should be made to work to pay their debt to society and feed themselves. There are 2 farm prisons in Jamaica, the Tambourine Farm Correctional Center in St. Catherine and the Richmond Adult Correctional Facility in St. Mary. But sources say that there is very little taking place in terms of work and productivity on the farms, which mostly lie fallow. A source close to the Richmond Adult Correctional Facility said, "There isn't enough staff, we have to focus more on security, so farming takes a back seat. We do a little here and there, but nothing on a wide scale. We supply some of the other institutions with eggs from a small chicken farm, and our pig rearing is at an all-time low. I believe it is time for the authorities to take a close look at what is going on, because there is enough land available for cultivation and production, and we should be putting more into the system in terms of grown provisions, meat and vegetables. That would lessen the burden on the taxpayers, and funds could be shifted to assist with more rehabilitation programs." Richmond Farm once incorporated a large banana cultivation with cash crops mixed in, including corn, string beans, pak choy, and cucumbers. A correctional officer at a high-security facility said many staff members are furious that the government is laying out so much on feeding inmates and is calling for an audit of the services. The Auditor General's Department needs to look deeply into what is taking place in prisons. From where many of us sit, we see this as a money-making thing. Jamaica is in problems in terms of fish heads. It's a friendship thing, and somebody needs to look at how the produce contracts are awarded, he continued. You have many prisoners who desperately want to work. They want to be doing something. So why is a man sentenced to hard labor and he can laze about all day, sometimes making mischief? It is an absolute disgrace that so many acres of land at Richmond and Tambourine Farm remain underutilized and are turned into forest, and the institutions are buying things like yam, sweet potato, cabbage, callaloo, and bananas. The taxpayers of this country need some answers. If there was better management of the men, they'd be able to supply all of the fresh produce that is required, he added. Minister with responsibility for the Correctional Services, Xavier Main, and the Commissioner of Corrections, Lieutenant Colonel retired Gabriel King, remained tight-lipped about the feeding program in the service. Another area of concern raised by the correctional officer is in the area of dietary needs for inmates who suffer from diabetes and or hypertension. We're supposed to have nutritionists and doctors who screen and make recommendations for certain inmates with medical conditions. But from what I have observed, they are just fed what is there, and the daily menu leaves a lot to be desired. I know this is prison, but what is served raises questions about where all that money is going. For example, every day there's rice and dumplings. Sometimes there's cornmeal porridge and crackers. They have recently introduced saltfish, and there's a limited variety of meat kind. So what is $500 million being spent on annually? 25 new COVID-19 cases, one more death reported. Jamaica on Saturday reported 25 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases reported on the island to 128,379. According to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the country also reported one more virus-related death. The death toll since the start of the pandemic now stands at 2,845. Of the newly reported cases, there were 21 females and 4 males, with ages ranging from 1 day to 108 years. The cases were recorded in Clarendon 2, Hanover 2, Kingston and St. Andrew 7, Manchester 2, St. Catherine 4, St. Elizabeth 1, St. James 2, St. Thomas 1 and Trelawney 1. Meanwhile, the latest victim is a 57-year-old man from St. Catherine. The country also recorded 99 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 78,430. The country's positivity rate now stands at 3.3%. There are 374 confirmed active cases on the island. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.